Oh, welcome. I hope everybody can hear us and see us. Amazing to be here. This is the AI Guild session about building pitch decks with Cursor and Marbs. This method will help you to build impressive presentations quickly for the hackathon. Or anything else, and we will show you the workflow that we use, we as well, to build pitch decks. I'm here with Alex, my co-founder, and yeah, let's jump in. So building presentations, we've all been in this situation, I'm sure. And in many cases, there's a great project, but the presentation is not so good. And it's also because many of the hackathon teams are very technical, and developers would rather do development and develop and do coding than create slides. And sometimes the team just doesn't have the design resource to build nice decks. Um, and of course, presentations are done in the last minute, uh, as you do, right? But unfortunately, the judges can only evaluate what they see and understand from your project. Um, and the poor presentation can sink an excellent project. So a little bit of introduction about us. I'm Marton Csernai. I come from a research background, um, and currently we're building Gigentic, which is an escrow service right now. And yeah, and I'm also a Super Team Germany member. And maybe I ask Alex if you want to introduce yourself.
Was co-founder of Marci, also working on Gigentic. Started originally information technology in Berlin and Shanghai. I made another master in business management, MBA, and very happy today to show everyone how we make a transition from code to presentable information. Let's go deeper in it.
All right. So our solution is basically we're using Cursor and an extra tool called MARP. Um, I hope a Cursor doesn't need an introduction, but Cursor is basically a coding tool. It's a VS Code um, extended with all sorts of AI features. Very, very popular nowadays. It speeds up development process a lot. But the nice thing is that it can be used for so many other things as well. And now we will show you a nice workflow or a trick or a hack how to build presentations with Cursor and this tool. And basically, you take your project files, which can be any kind of description of the project, product requirement definitions, or descriptions from the product team or the um, non-tech participants of the team. And MARP converts these into markdowns and markdown from markdown to presentations. And the entire workflow stays within your developer environment, which you're comfortable with. And of course, at the end, you can export the presentation and switch to PowerPoint or any other design tool to do the final touches. All right, so how does this work? Let's see. Um, so the implementation is, oh, hold on. So this slide is a little bit off. So
Yeah,
how do I
Marci, I
do
think
this?
you should change this slide. I don't like it.
Yeah, give me a minute.
Hmm.
Uh,
And in the meantime, while Marci is using Cursor in order to improve the slide, because we eat our own dog food, um, the perfect. Already
Much
adjusted.
better.
Much nicer.
So yeah, this was it. We're done, right? Well, let's show how it was done. So in the background, I used Cursor and prompted the AI uh, to the to change the slide. I said the technical implementation slide is very complicated. Please remove the setup process from the left and only keep the diagram and make it flow left to right. That was it. And the slide was changed instantly. instantly, kind of, right? And so what we can still do is let's see how we can use this process, right? So let's say that now I want to add a new slide to explain more. And so why don't we just do this? We accept the file and let's see what we get. And while Cursor is working on it, we can always look into how it thinks about the problem, what it needs to do, and it finds that after the technical implementation, it's a fitting place to add the new slide, and then we can switch over to the presentation. And here we have a slide about MARP. So what is MARP? MARP is basically a presentation ecosystem. It's a tool that with some special primitives that you can use in Markdown, it renders the Markdown into HTML. And then you simply open this HTML in your browser and it works as a presentation. Of course, later you can export it as a PowerPoint or PDF, which we will show later. And the whole customization and themes are done via CSS, which is it's nice in a way that if you know CSS or if you have some background in front-end development, then you can customize the styles as you want. But if you don't know that, it's not a problem because then you just tell Cursor what you want to change on the slide, and Cursor can talk CSS for you very well. Um, so Yeah, so here at this point, I would recommend to use Git. So when you work with Cursor and these AI-powered tools, they always change and show what they change in the file, and they save the file so you already see what the changes are, but you have to accept them so that Cursor knows that you accepted that change and you can move forward with that. If you reject it, then the file is reverted to the state before your prompt. And on top of this, I think it's very wise to use Git with whatever you work with, even with slides, so that you will see these are the changes that we did in the last two prompts. And if we commit this, then we will know and clearly see what the new changes are. And it's a nice way to monitor what the AI changes in your code or in your presentation. And so we just say add more slide, we commit it, and then we can continue. And yes, so MARP has a very, very nice, so it has a really nice framework to do presentations. It has a presenter view just like in PowerPoint or Google Slides, and you have all the features that are in the presenter view that, oh, hold on. So we're missing the speaker notes. Let's quickly generate that with Cursor. So we just say add speaker notes. And let's see. And yeah, so We usually use the agent mode and Claude 3.7 Sonnet with the thinking enabled. I feel that this is a really good middle ground with speed and with efficiency. The thinking part adds a little bit of extra depth to what Cursor is doing. It understands much better my intention, what I want to do, um, and and usually it gives quite good results. Um, and now we can just scroll through the file, and you can see that it added speaker notes to every slide. Let's see. We accept. We go to the presentation. And we look at the speaker notes. And there they are, the speaker notes. So MARP stands for Markdown Presentation Ecosystem. Is designed to specifically for developers who prefer working with code. And I don't know, Alex, maybe you can share a couple of thoughts about this presenter notes feature.
Yeah,
Uh,
I must admit I like this feature most so far because I'm coming from a software engineering sales background, and we made presentation for a month or like 3 weeks of presentation preparation, thinking about every slide, every detail. And Marci and I, we made now a lot of presentations for different investor rounds. And the beautiful thing is you can adjust every presentation to your listener in 10 minutes work, and including the speaker notes, including the graphs, including everything around it. So uh, the beauty is really the customization to the individual listener, and maybe lacking a little bit fanciness from perfect polished PowerPoint. But to be honest, this is more quality and not quantity. So it's really about the individualization to the person and the speed in which we can generate new presentations for a meeting. I'm really happy with this workflow, even though breathing sometimes deep when again something would be in PowerPoint, just click, drag and drop, and it would be fixed in PowerPoint, and there it is maybe like calling Marci and asking for support or cursoring around for half an hour. But to be honest, in the end, it's still faster. So uh, the things which are in PowerPoint in 2 seconds need maybe 10 minutes, but therefore the 5 or 10 hours need 20 minutes. So it's totally worth it.
Yeah, yeah, I completely understand what you mean. That there are some, and we will also go into a couple of tricks here and there that that sometimes you have to adjust things manually when you're using PowerPoint on Google Slides, and you have to do it all the time. But when you set up this workflow and you figure out these quirks, that gets added together. So the next time you already know, you can prompt Cursor to know that already. So you spend 1 hour with figuring out some small problem that would take maybe 1 minute in PowerPoint, but then next time you don't have to spend that 1 hour. But on the other hand, with the PowerPoint and Google Slides with the manual things, you have to do that all the time. And Cursor and this Smart does that really, really well. That it just does everything really quickly. And
Yeah, and also the beauty is all the context which you can give to Cursor, like another code block or another folder or another pitch deck or a LinkedIn profile, a website URL. So you can easily give knowledge to Cursor so that he can regenerate your whole deck in minutes. Once it's working one time properly, the adjustment is light speed. And this is the whole advantage of the situation.
yeah, and one more sentence about this whole speaker notes thing. Creating the pitch videos with this tool or with this workflow just speeds up the process so much, because maybe you don't like the script 100%, but usually what we see is that 80, 90% is good. So yeah. Yeah. So okay, so let's continue. The next topic that we want to show you is really the mermaid diagrams. So if you don't know, mermaid is a JavaScript
Oh,
library. It was created to create diagrams for web pages. And interestingly, this has been going on around on Twitter in the how to use cursor space. That cursor and the AI speaks very well in graphical language, or it can convey very complicated, complex ideas with graphs or diagrams really well. And Mermaid is a really, really good tool for this. Now, all the diagrams that you can see in our presentation, they are all created by Mermaid. Um, now, now comes the challenging part that sometimes when a cursor
oh, maybe one
generates,
second
yes,
before we go to the troublesome. And here comes also the beauty. So the diagrams are code. They are not drag and drop blocks which you need to adjust in PowerPoint. So sometimes we have a situation that we are talking to a stakeholder and we decide in the meeting the average market volume is not 5 million, it is 10 million. Or we change maybe a percentage value. The fee is 4% instead of 5%. So let's assume we want to make such a change, which is actually a change which affects many, many slides. You just tell cursor, hey, the fee is not 4%, it is 5%. All the diagrams are changed, all the slides are changed, all the text is changed, and the speaker notes are changed. So afterwards, you make an export to PowerPoint, you record your video in PowerPoint while you give the presentation, and you already have everything adjusted to your new information. I just wanted to stress again how nice it is that diagrams are code, as we can see here on the left-hand side. Um, because everything is adjustable by cursor with one prompt.
yeah, yeah, very good point. And when cursor adjusts your mermaid diagrams, sometimes it runs into some issues, and we will showcase a very, very typical issue. I will just add this quickly, add speaker notes, we commit, and so where this is our mermaid syntax. And in many cases, when you have a complex diagram and you are trying to show like a flow or a flow of things changing or evolving in the process, cursor would add something like this into the um, the code, so that maybe it's a dot, or maybe sometimes it uses parentheses to show that it's points or timely evolution of the graph. And in such cases, um, you get this very nice syntax error in Mermaid thing, and then you can go and try to talk to cursor, and sometimes it gets it, sometimes it goes on all sorts of crazy things. So one nice trick is to just put these things where you have special characters into these apostrophes, and that usually solves the issue. So whenever you have a syntax issue, look into the code of Mermaid and try to fix it with putting these labels into um, apostrophes. Um, the other nice thing about using cursor and Mermaid is the styling. Now, this might be like a whole different panel going into styling and mermaid diagrams. But what I usually like is that the whole the whole presentation is CSS, so you can use hex colors, right? And maybe you use ShotCN or some kind of tool where you develop your colors, and you can easily change the colors in the themes, but usually you have a custom styling in the mermaid itself. And uh, simply you just have your maybe custom color that you want to use, your branding color or something like that, and you change that. And of course, you can use replace tools or all sorts of things, and it makes like changing the color and creating a theme that you want to do very, very easy. And in many cases, if you create like a template, like just a file with colors, and you just add that to cursor's context, and you say, these are my colors, please use these, make it so that this is that color and that's that color, usually it gets you 80% the way that you want to do. And then you can go in and maybe fix it up manually. Okay, so this is the little tricks about Mermaid and some syntax stuff. And now I would like to show you one of the main things or why you might be here, is how you actually use it. So how do I run this? How can I actually get this working? So I will maybe now drop the link to the GitHub repo. I don't know if you guys can see this. If you
You
go
can send it
out,
me in Telegram if you like, Marci, and
I
we can see it.
don't know. Can you see it? I
Yes.
also drop it in. Yes. Okay. I will also just drop it in the hackathon chat. Okay. I think it should be fine. And so if we go to the repo, this is the repo. And so there are two ways of getting MARP working with Cursor or VS Code if you want, but let's just stick with Cursor for now. One way is actually installing it as a global NPM package. I am using this version right now. I started with option 1 in the beginning. I will show that, but this is the one that I recommend. If you're using Cursor, you probably used already NPM, so it will not be a big hurdle for you to install this as a global package. And then the nice thing is that you can basically just drop this one line into your terminal, um, which basically calls the CLI and starts this watch mode. It's like a live server or watch mode for your Markdown file with the MARP syntax. And whenever you change something in the presentation, and this is what I've been using so far, right? Whenever you change something, it automatically creates the HTML file for you with the whole presentation. And then you can simply just go and find it in the Finder and open it with um, Chrome or whichever browser you use, or you can just open it with a live server and then it serves it as a file. Honestly, it doesn't matter which one you use, both works fine. Here I use the live server version because it's one click less from Cursor to go there. So that's option 1, the recommended option, I think. And then option 2 is you can install this extension called Marp for VS Code. And then if you have a Marp file, then you will see this little Marp icon, and then you can just say export slide deck, and then you can say HTML, and then it will just generate the HTML the same way. Also, this is the way how you can export the slide deck to PowerPoint as well, which works really, really nicely. Now, one thing with the PDF export, for some reason, many details, I think, with how the whole package and the library works, this PDF export doesn't work nicely. Sometimes the mermaid diagrams are not so nice. So what I recommend instead to generate the PDF version is to go to the HTML presentation that you have, and here you just do simply print and save it as a PDF, and then usually you get a really nice result. And that's the one that I also added to the repo in the final branch. And there you go, and you have the latest version with the fixed, right? So this is the changes that we did in the beginning, and we have also the tricky syntax as well, and yeah, and that's it. And I think this was the main part of the session. And now I would
Or
open
maybe
up. Yeah.
the the great advantage which you guys have now, which we didn't have, you can take our repo and try to get it running with the file Marci just showed you, with the working markdown file. And if something looks strange, you know it is your setup. If everything looks fine, you know, okay, now your setup works. So it's really a little bit tricky. You need to learn a little bit to play around with which export format has which quality. For example, Marci, if you go again to the live presentation in the
Yes.
browser, and
Hmm.
you activate the speaker slide,
Hmm.
the speaker notes, now
Yes.
you see that the text looks bad on the
Yes.
presentation, but this is not in PowerPoint. And I tried to fix that for 45 minutes. And then I took another file from Marci and I see, well, his also looks strange when I do this view. And then finally I understood, it is just when you activate the presenter view that the text looks bad in the mermaid diagram. So what I want to say is, have one golden file which you know looks good, and then you can find out what is your setup and what is maybe usage, which is making you trouble.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, this is how let's say. So I was preparing for my East Denver talk in February, end of February, and that's when I took this opportunity where I'm like, there must be a way to generate slides with cursor, and the first part was challenging because there were so many. I didn't even know what I was doing because I didn't even understand how the whole package works and why is it an extension. And I didn't even look into the CLI. I thought that the extension is easier. And then there is a way to. This is also what got me for quite a long time. You have your presentation here, right? And then you want to do the preview, the markdown preview that you do with markdown files all the time, right? And then you click it, and then of course I have a special markdown preview extension, and then I get this message that the special markdown preview extension cannot view the MARP diagrams or the MARP slides. So can I use the normal VS Code built-in Markdown because that will give you a better result? And then you click this one, and then you see actually the slides here. And then you can click move into new window so that you get it in a nicer way. And then you have all these things that it doesn't look the same as it looks on the HTML, which you can do and export to PDF. So you can spend a lot of time figuring out how to make this work. And we struggled through that, I would say, for weeks with this, obviously not full time, but over the course of weeks, we together figured out really nice ways, what we just showed you, how to actually use this in a quick, useful, efficient way. And there is a way. So, yeah.
That's exactly what Marci showed you in the GitHub repository. You can follow this way, and then you can decide if you want to make some ways away from it to improve your workflow. But for us, that works now that we can also work as a team very good together. And another beauty is also meeting notes, to be honest. So when you have an AI note taker, which takes notes of the whole meeting, you can put all the notes into a file and give it Cursor, and then Cursor can take the meetings notes and the presentation you just showed and make the new presentation for the next meeting based on everything you spoke in the meeting. And the beauty is really when you manage to go through this steep learning curve at the beginning, then you see bright sun at the sky. And we
Yes.
wanted to help you a little bit with the steep learning curve by this meeting and also by this repository.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And as I said, so please go to this repository. It should be public. You should be able to see it. If you go to the final branch, that's basically the state that we just went through. I also added the PDF version so that you can compare and see how as Alex mentioned, to see that if your setup works. Um, and yeah, I hope to see many of you trying this out for the pitch day next week, and of course we will be also at the build station in Berlin with Alex next week. So also if you guys try to play around with it and you get stuck, come find us, shoot us a message. I think you would find me on Telegram as well with these black dots. I'm CSMARC, and the same as here. And yeah, I would say that we don't want to make this longer than it needs to be. So I would just open up the floor to questions. I can see if you write in YouTube any comments, or in Telegram, you can also write into the Telegram, the main Solana Hackathon group, or I am not sure if I can see what's going on in the live session on Telegram. Yeah, chats. Okay, I don't see anything. So yeah, I would say that's about the main gist. Any questions? Anything that you would like to add? Uh,
Yeah, maybe I have a little bit of tip for everyone. If you want to start now, take your cursor, take your files which you have for the hackathon, for the project, and give Cursor the markdown file which Marci shared with you in the repository. And then you tell Cursor, look at this markdown file. Please change all content inside for my hackathon project. And then Cursor already keeps a little bit the ratio text to graphs, keeps already a little bit the structure, and then it looks already okay-ish on a first shot, and then you can further improve it. So you can use this Markdown as a template to help Cursor make your presentation for the Solana Hackathon.
Yeah, that's a great advice. And so just as a quick rundown, how so what is this mark, or how does it, what's the syntax, right? We have like a simple preliminary part or prefix part. It just says markdown. Marp is true. Um, you can set the background color, right? And then the header is where the logo is. So just go in and try to break it, right? Try to break it, try to play around with it. You can add fonts, you can set the styles, and you can try it with cursor, and you can try it manually if you are familiar with CSS. And yeah, but all in all, it's a really simple syntax that you can play with. And yeah, I guess, if yeah, what's your take on Gamma AI? Also a great AI tool. I haven't used it, so I don't know Gamma AI. Uh, yeah, I don't know what's the process there. Um, I tried out a couple of tools like Google and PowerPoint Copilot, and then I realized I needed something that's more closer to the development workflow that we work with, and yeah, maybe yes, yes, got it. Um, I'm pretty sure that you can somehow merge your workflows, right? I will look into it, of course, and thanks for the suggestion. But what I wanted to maybe say at this point is that I don't know if you noticed that now Google and Google Docs. So if you have a normal Google Doc, there is a option that download Google Docs and download it in Markdown. So even if you have Google Docs and you work with Google Docs, it's really easy to get that out into Markdown, throw it into your cursor, and work with that as a context or as a building block for your presentation. So maybe the non-developer or someone in your team who doesn't know how to, doesn't use cursor or Git or all these kind of things, but they can use a Google Doc. They describe everything with ChatGPT, throw it in there, play around with that, and then you have one nice Markdown document that you can throw into Cursor and build a presentation. And also, I'm pretty sure in many cases in the hackathon team there are some people who are familiar with Cursor or developer environments, and some people who are more non-techy and they use Google or Docs or all these kind of things. And you, you just sit next to each other or do go on a meet and do it together. I think that's like the I would say the vibe presentation making. so so in an hour, if you set this up in an hour, you have your pitch deck basically. So definitely recommend it for everyone to check it out. And yeah, that was the main point I wanted to make. Markdown. So I tend to go or tend to come to that point that everything that we do is in Markdown, and that can be thrown into Git, and that we can basically do version history or versioning with it, and that works well to work together in a team and work together with the AI. But although it's Markdown and it's text, we have pitch decks in minutes that we can basically use and record a video and send it over to investors, stakeholders, whoever we want to. So yeah, I think that's it. If there's any other questions or comments, let us know. But if not, then I would basically wrap it up. And I want to thank everyone who joined. We are 94 people, yes, in the stream. That's amazing. Thanks for joining. And shoot us a message, write in the group or write me a DM on Telegram. Just say regarding this. And yeah, and happy to meet some of you if you are in Berlin uh, next week. Or and yeah, good luck with building pitch decks and presentations. And we still have quite a lot of time to build all sorts of things. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. And see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.